Today we talk about paying 40 for 40s and the lack of accessibility in pro sports. We talk extensively about how fans take one for the team they are so passionate about. Let us know your thoughts on Instagram, Twitter, or on our suggestion forum at tiltednotsthird.com. Enjoy.
My name is Edwin.
And I'm Jeff.
And I'm Frantic.
And together we are Tilted Not Stirred. So what has you guys feeling foul today? What have you guys been up to?
Well, just this weekend I went to go to a Dodger game, went to the stadium.
Oh, lucky.
Pretty dope.
Oh, dude. How was it?
It was pretty cool actually. We were in the fully vaccinated section. So it was more authentic, if you will, because we were like elbow to elbow with people. It was pretty dope.
Wait, they do that?
Yeah,
They have like a vaccinated section?
Fully vaccinated section. And
I
you get
just
like this wristband, and it's more inconvenient for you to get into the stadium. But yeah, it was cool.
Wow. Wait, so then does that mean their limited capacity is a little higher now?
Well, when we went, it was 16,000 people. I'm not sure if that was
Holy
a sellout.
shit.
Well, I mean,
But-
Well, I guess since it's outside, right?
before
Yeah.
the
But the stadium's huge.
Yeah.
before it was like only like five grand, 5k people. That's it. So
Mm-hmm.
now that it's 16, I bet it feels awesomer now. Like more. Damn, I just said awesomer. That's fucking dumb.
Nice.
I guess it just feels more genuine. Holy crap. Awesomer. Oh man.
Yeah, it definitely felt lively in the stadium. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it was a weekday game, right?
No, it was on a Saturday.
Oh, on a Saturday. Okay,
Yeah.
so then, all right. Sweet.
Hey guys, I just found out there's home run seats. What's that about? I just found this out.
Oh, yeah, that's a new thing the Dodgers added.
So
They're like right in front of the pavilion, like very front. So you're like basically leaning. You can lean onto the field essentially. It's a way to.
The pavilion, is that where the all-you-can-eat section is?
Yeah, where it used to be. At least.
What?
Yeah,
oh wait, so
okay.
all you
Can't
can
do
eat
that.
section was the home run section this whole time?
Well, yeah. You're more likely to get a home run because it's at the back of the stadium.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
So
awesome.
now they're home run seats.
Yeah, for both sides at least.
So
And is that an upcharge? Do you know?
I would imagine so. I don't know the pricing.
oh my goodness. What have you been up to,
my
Frantic?
to-do list for sure. Nothing as cool as going to a Dodgers game, but just mostly been preparing things because I'm going to be away for the weekend. Going to a buddy's house in Laguna, so gonna go live that rich person lifestyle without being rich myself. So
You definitely don't want
Should be good.
you don't want that house. You want a friend who has a house. Just kind of like a boat. You don't want a boat because of all the upkeep, but you want a friend who has a boat. That way you
I don't know, dude. I mean, the place is right on the beach, dude.
I mean,
it's kind of nice.
is that not applicable? Is that not the same thing?
I would not be able to afford the upkeep, if that's what you're saying.
The upkeeps are
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, for sure. What about you, Edwin?
So I just came back from Santa Cruz, which is really, really nice. We visited UC Santa Cruz. That place is a forest. It literally is in a forest. You cannot see the other buildings. You have to hike to the other buildings. It's actually incredible. I did not expect that. There's a bus that takes you through the entire school, and the school is bigger than the city of Santa Cruz.
Oh damn! When you said it was a forest, I thought you were talking about just all the pot smoking that's up there. You know, smoking trees. Because I heard that there's a lot of smoking up there.
That's literally part of the culture, man, in Santa Cruz. I was looking at the Reddit to see what was going on with their school, their memes and stuff. And yeah, they have an abundant amount of weed related jokes and memes up there. It's pretty great.
Very nice. Very nice, dude.
And I came back. Over there I had a lot of shitty Mexican food. I had tacos that had a salsa. I asked for hot sauce on them, and they gave me this marinara like marinara type sauce on it. It even smelled like pizza.
Nice.
Wow.
I was, needless to say, it's the reason why I don't go to Mexican food spots.
Yeah, when you can eat that kind of stuff at home.
Better, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to, especially the Americanized, right?
Yeah, but my girlfriend's family only likes to eat at Mexican food spots, so sometimes there's sacrifices that you have to make, and
Hit or miss, for sure.
yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, and then I came back and I'm playing a lot of Path of Exile, which I just started playing 2 days ago, and it's ruined my life already.
Why'd you have to drag me in, man? My life was good, and then Path of Exile happened.
It's kind of fun.
It's all right.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on passing.
You'll pass.
Yeah, I'll pass.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
what are we talking about today, Jeff?
Well, seeing as how I just went to a game, it got me thinking about sports in general and just how it may not be as accessible to others around the country or just, I guess, in the world.
And even
So
yourself, right?
Yeah, you're not talking about just like being able to go to a game, or what do you mean by accessibility?
Yeah, because even it wasn't until last year that I could actually watch the Dodgers on TV, which is insane.
Is that because they're on Spectrum or what?
Yeah, they were on Spectrum for the longest time, and they still are. And just 2 years ago, DirecTV, like, I guess, purchased the rights to have the channel as well.
Oh,
And that's the only
okay.
reason why I'm able to watch them now.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I know the Lakers are under Spectrum as well. Don't know if those rights have been purchased elsewhere. I mean, they're still like the publicly televised games, like national games.
TV deals are such a
Yeah.
big part of the sports now because they provide teams with so much money. You know, cap spaces going up because of TV deals are the reason why we're seeing all these exclusivity deals with teams, and then just makes it so that the rich get richer. You know, big teams take a bigger cut of these TV deals because they draw the largest amount of eyeballs to the screen. So
Yeah, and I mean the players see much bigger contracts as well, so it's somewhat of a win-win. But then I guess the only ones that are losing,
Are
as
the
Jeff
fans.
mentioned, are the fans.
well, if you think about it this way, right? You have a player, and now the LeBron James was in the NBA. He's the one that started doing the one and done deals or one deals and then see what else comes up ahead, right?
Yes, the one and one.
The one
Where
and
he's,
ones.
He's insured for a year, but then next year he has an opt out.
He has an option
Yeah.
to be to a different. He started doing that because there's a lot more money guaranteed if all of these deals keep getting renewed by the TV, like all the TV contracts, they keep getting renewed. Cap space keeps growing, and then his contract could get fatter each and every time, every year, maximizing his profits. And it's also
Yeah.
causing teams to just be shifting players left and right. You know.
Right. So these franchises, they know they have marquee players, and this isn't just in the NBA. They got baseball, soccer, all this various leagues and stuff. How much do you guys think that the franchises owe the fans?
Well, they wouldn't be in that position without the fans, is the thing, right? The reason the Dodgers can afford all this is because they have that fan base, because people are willing to pay so much money to go see them. And because of that, they were able to get the Spectrum deal that was like, I don't know the exact amount, but I know it was like north of $20 billion for the rights of just the channel.
So is there a love-hate relationship going on there, where they need the fans, but then it's also at the expense of fans?
Well, one of the biggest, again, I know I say I'm the most well versed in soccer, but I also really follow the NBA. One of the teams that happened to the fan base entirely was the Warriors, right? They were from Oakland, and before then, when they were just the Warriors and not have won anything, the We Believe Warriors, the people from Oakland enjoyed going to those games. As soon as the Warriors became successful, that's when all the Silicon Valley people started going to the games, and eventually the prices skyrocketed and kicked out all the loyal fan base that used to go that didn't have all that money to spend on the tickets. It all became Silicon Valley people going to those games. That's one of those things that happened to the Warriors, and you can see that in so many different parts of sports in general.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I mean, if before you can go with the family to a game, let's say you're a family, you have a wife and kids, 2 kids, let's say, and if that night out costs you maybe 150, 200, like, okay, well, it could be tough, but you can do it. But then now if each ticket's 100, $150 each, you're just like, yikes.
All right, Jeff, I'm assuming you looked up the prices to a game, right? So let's say we want to go to a baseball game next week. How much would those tickets run us? Minimum tickets.
Minimum?
Yeah.
Well, I have averages.
Averages. Give me the average.
I ain't trying to sit in on nosebleeds. Come on, bro.
Exactly. For 2019, which is the only accurate year we have because 2020 didn't have fans, was $42.62.
Minimum nosebleeds, correct?
No, that's the average.
Oh, average. Okay.
But the thing about that is I feel like that's a misrepresentation because the Dodgers have so much premium seating that are just way more than this. Like, if you want to sit behind the plate, that's way more than this.
Is that an average for Dodger Stadium?
Yeah, this is just for Dodger Stadium.
Oh, wow.
What's the most prestigious or most expensive and MLB team that you think?
It would be between, for ticket costs, it would probably be between the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Red Sox. The Red Sox because they have such a small stadium and they're a big market team that,
has been doing good. Yeah, Boston is such a, what is it called? A sports city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you look up a price for Yankees Dodgers? How much would that run us minimally or on average?
See, they don't play as much, so it'd be hard to. They play like once every 5 years, if that.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be. I mean,
average on that
division.
Yeah, and you can also look up that average, but it's not really indicative of a normal game because, like Jeff said, they play so few games, if at all. So it's pretty hard to get that kind of number.
And then this is an average, right? The cost per ticket changes by day, like what day they're playing and what team they're playing against.
Yeah.
Which is so a game against the Marlins, sorry Marlins fans, is going to be way cheaper than a game against the Yankees or now the Padres, just because they're good now, so people want to go see those games.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine how much the tickets are going to be against Houston, which is coming up in August, because everyone wants to go see that game.
Damn. So if you can't go to the game because there's always a bunch of reasons why you can't drive out to a game or get tickets, your other options are what? TV or like an app, right? Yeah. How do people watch baseball? I don't know.
So most people, if you want to watch your team, you have to watch them through their local station. The fucked up thing about baseball is the blackout restrictions, and it's insanely ridiculous, these restrictions.
Wait, so like a blackout? I'm assuming these are for the marquee games, right?
No, these are by teams. So say I'm a Dodgers fan, right? I want to watch Dodgers games. If I were to purchase MLB TV, I would not be able to watch Dodger games on that app, on that subscription. Because those games are blacked out in my area, because it's assumed that I would be able to watch them on television.
Oh, I see now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you almost lost me there. Okay. So if they're going to be on TV, you can't see them on the app.
Yeah. But it gets fucked because these blackout restrictions are everywhere. And I'm looking at a map right now, and this is so stupid.
So why is it that they black out local locals from watching the game that they could be watching on their TV, on their television. Why is it that you don't get that choice? Is that choice makes them more money somehow?
I would assume so, because it's why would I pay for cable when I can buy the pass and just watch the games there?
But it is the one day though. The one day that it's gonna be on regular TV, right? It's not even on cable. It's on the regular local channel that you get, right? Without cable.
No. Like, these blackout restrictions are assuming you have the local channel, as in the channel that all the games are on. So for the Dodgers, it would be the Sportsnet LA, which is exclusive to, Spectrum and to DirecTV.
DirecTV.
So if you have Dish TV and you want to watch a Dodger game, there's no way for you to watch a Dodger game
that day
at all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's on ESPN or on Fox,
which would then require you to have a different subscription. So it's always behind a paywall.
Yeah. Which is the crux of the matter that in soccer as well, there's so many subscriptions that you can pay for, right? There's Fubo TV, there's the Spectrum. Spectrum offers a soccer channel package, but they don't offer everything, right? So if I wanted to go to Fubo TV, they give me 32 soccer channels, right? But it costs me $64.99 to $79.99. Okay, per month. Let's clear that up.
What in the?
All right.
Per month. Wait, but do you have access to all the games? No. Is there any blackout?
No, I don't have access to all the games because soccer deals with so many different leagues. So they'll give you some leagues, but not the other. So we got the Spectrum deal, which runs me $45 to $95 per month. But they only give me 21 channels that are in soccer, right? And then there's the ESPN, which is the cheapest option, but they only do matches for 18 plus soccer games and some MLS games. So
no international games.
So no international games or any of that sort. And then there's channels that are like, let's say you want to watch matches for the Premier League, right? For what I'm interested in, I'm interested in all soccer, right? But the Premier League is where I watch Chelsea, my favorite team. If I wanted to watch Chelsea, right, I have to have a subscription that includes NBC and NBC Sports Network, right? NBC Sports Network is a cable exclusive. You cannot get that anywhere. But NBC, you can get that on your local channels, whatever, right?
All right.
But even then, NBC has a Peacock app now where they black out shows, games that they would show otherwise on TV. They'd put them on Peacock because they want people to subscribe to Peacock. Peacock it's $5 a month, whatever, right? That's an extra $60 a month you would be paying for some games appearing on Peacock. And, those games are sometimes like the hypest game of the weekend, and it's behind that $5 paywall if you want to watch just the one. And even then, they're not frequent enough. They're not frequently on Peacock to make it worthwhile.
Right. I guess the big difference between that, which you just described, and what Jeff was saying about baseball is the sheer number of games is completely different.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
so in baseball, how many is 100 and what?
162 games per team across 30 teams.
Yeah, that's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games. That's a ridiculous. Yeah, that's an incredible.
Yeah, and then in soccer, you mentioned that. I mean,
there's 36.
It just, yeah.
There's 36 matches per team.
That's tough. I know and I don't have NBA League Pass, but I did a little bit of research on it recently because I wanted to watch what game was it? I think it was the playoffs last year. Yeah, during the pandemic. And League Pass hearing about the prices and stuff that you guys are saying, I'm just like, wow, League Pass is actually not as bad. I know in the NBA there's like 82 games, and it says here NBA League Pass Premium is $40 a month.
Oof.
Which gets you all the stuff, but I mean it's still $40, right? You can also get NBA TV and stuff like that. That'll run you $7 a month. So, I mean, better.
What's the difference between the two?
The difference between the League Pass Premium is that you can not only do you get the in arena stream, so you get no commercials. You're also able to basically have all the games on demand and even old games and stuff if you want. Yeah, if you want to do that kind of thing. Whereas NBA TV is you being able to watch games live. And if you miss it, you missed it.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, so all of these different TV packages and things, at the end of the day, again, it's still at the expense of the fans, right? So how much do you think that the fans should, I don't know if the word is to put up with it, or like what can we do about this?
Ideally, if you're a fan of your team, you should be able to watch that team with whatever cable package you have. You should, your local team shouldn't be behind a paywall, or at least an additional paywall.
I mean, the local teams, right? We're talking about local teams here, right? If I wanted to go watch personally the LA Galaxy, if I wanted to go to the stadium, the lowest price I'm looking at right now is $80 for a ticket.
What the fuck?
If I wanted to go watch the LA Galaxy, right? And so LA Galaxy, so LAFC versus LA Galaxy. The only remaining tickets, there's only 5 tickets left for StubHub right now. The cheapest price for the ticket, $1,212 for a game that takes place on October 3rd, 2021, October 3rd. $1,212 for a single ticket.
And I thought that Americans didn't like soccer. How the hell did that get up so high?
You gotta cater to the ones that do, I guess.
Cater?
Since it's
This is catering?
such an elusive fan base. No, it's so elusive that you gotta exploit them, I guess is the better word.
Shit, man.
Oh, there's only like 5 of you that want to go watch the game? Well, we gotta stretch as much as we can out of this.
I mean, sometimes I do understand why prices are so high for certain things, because you need to have some sort of barrier where if everyone could afford it, then there's a certain level of mystique or prestige that it could lose, or the demand would be so overwhelming that you cannot possibly supply it all, right?
Well, that's the Disneyland dilemma, you know?
Yeah. And so, like all these TV packages and app stuff, like that stuff is kind of like, well, you're basically taking the money out of our pockets and preying on our love for our local team.
Well, here's what happens then, right? So if there's so many people wanting to go at a certain price point, there's an incredible amount of people wanting to go at $20. You start looking at the giant pool of people and say, how many of those people are willing to pay $40?
Yeah.
You still get,
it's always supply demand.
You still get everybody seated into a stadium. It reaches full capacity at $40. Then you start thinking, what about $60? And then that's how the ball keeps rolling. And sports,
my guy, that's only half the equation though, because you got how many people are willing to pay $60 for a ticket? That's fine. But what about how many people are willing to pay $10 for a beer? Okay, wait, hold on. They're willing to pay 10? What about 15?
How much did you pay when you went to the game, Jeff?
For a tall can of Modelo. It was 2 tall cans of a Modelo. One of them was upgraded to a Michelada, and I saw the upgrade was $7 alone. So together, that was $41.
For 2 beers.
For 2 beers. So do the math. 41 minus 7 divided by 2.
I don't drink enough to know what a tall can costs.
It averages to like $17 a beer.
How much does a
For a tall
tampon
can.
cost for my local liquor store?
Oh, Modelo,
For a
you
tall
can
boy?
probably get like a 3-pack, 3 tall cans for, I don't know, maybe $6,
Three
$8.
for $6?
I would think so. I mean, if they're tall, they might even be cheaper than that.
Damn, man, that's a good deal. Invest
Invest in the in the beer stocks now.
and just tall can stocks.
All right, is
But
a
yeah,
tall can
like the-
24 ounces?
Damn, we're gonna sound like nerds
24?
over here. Yeah,
Do it.
We're
I want to
outing,
hear it.
we're outing ourselves.
Okay, $4 for a Modelo right now from my local liquor store.
There it is.
Your local liquor store has a fucking website?
No, I was on DoorDash.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Nice. So, okay, maybe I underestimated it. Maybe 3 tall cans was like $10-$12.
But still, that's a 400% markup?
Yeah, I mean, that's where they make the most of their money, right?
Yeah, off the concession stands.
On the concessions.
Well, I've always thought like sports are just irrational. You know, they make us cry, they make us angry, they make us laugh, they make us really overjoyed, the happiest days of our lives. Sports are so irrational, right? They don't make any fucking sense. You know,
It makes perfect sense, dude.
I mean, it makes perfect sense in the psychological way of we exchange warfare with sports, and it's something that we
exactly.
can tribalize.
Man, it's us versus them, bro.
Yeah, it's
It's modern day warfare.
a tribal thing,
yeah,
right?
It's competition. It's all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives us that same feeling, you know, without having to just go murder people. Instead, we can just foul people really hard in the shins, you know, 2-foot tackles, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sports are so irrational that people take advantage of how irrational we are about our sports teams. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I know the NBA playoffs are about to start, and this is peak excitement time for me. Because, I mean, I pop off at the end of games. I remember Anthony Davis making that game-winning 3 and saying Kobe released it and made it over the Joker. And I was like, I jumped off. I popped off. I jumped off the couch. It was going crazy. Everyone was like, what's going on? And it's like, they just won.
Wait, you mean
did
to
it.
say you don't have wonderful feelings about Steve Blake and you know, back in Legacy Lakers, bro?
Hey man, I've been here when they were losing, and I'm here now when they're winning.
But now that you brought this up, though, can I just bring up a gripe I have with basketball?
What's up?
So a while back, I decided I'm gonna give basketball a chance. It's playoff times. Let's see this. Let's see what this is like. It was the last 5 minutes of the game. Literally every other play was interrupted by a foul, and it just put me
Yeah.
off the sport entirely. I was like, all right,
That's
this
the
is
free
boring as
throws.
shit. I'm not gonna watch this anymore.
That's
and I
a
turned off the
tactic.
TV.
And you know they have addressed that a lot. There's less fouls now. There's a lot of different things, but it's really hard to avoid it because at the end of the game, it's very tactical.
Yeah, it's
Because at that point, if it's a 1 possession, 2 possession game, it's always going to come down to foul the other team and hope that they miss a free throw or 2 so that we can get back in it. So it's something that's just part of the game that it's very hard to take off. But I totally get it though.
Yeah, I guess it's not my cup of tea then.
Let's do round robin of gripes, right? So we got gripes on basketball, aired by Jeff. I want to do a gripe on baseball, aired by me. I know that you guys could just
All right.
straight up bag on soccer because that's an American thing. Americans just straight up bag on soccer.
Yeah, baseball. I mean, soccer's an easy target, bro. We need something harder than that.
So for the MLB, why is it that people can't show emotion, right? You hit a home run, right? You hit a home run, it's the greatest day of your life as a player. You're like, hell yeah. You know, act like you've been there before. It's an unwritten rule. But you hit it, you make the greatest play ever, you pop off. Well, you can't pop off because the next time you're at bat, you're going to get smacked. Why is that? Why is it that people cannot cheer? People can't showboat a little, you know, add a little spice to the life of baseball watching?
All right. So let me preface this by saying that I love emotion in the game. I think it's absolutely necessary to keep it alive, to keep people wanting to watch more, because you want to see the young players showboat, to an extent, and you want to see emotion. You want to see them go out and have fun. But to answer your question, it's because the old fucking people in the game, the ones who have been playing or have been in the game forever, it's one of those, this is how it's always been and this is how it's always going to get done. And it's an unwritten rule of baseball because for whatever reason, the people who have been the oldest in the game are the ones who easily get their feelings hurt. Yeah, they get their jimmies rustled and they just can't handle getting showboated for whatever reason.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
think
there's
it's stupid.
there's a lot of discussion right now on these unwritten rules. I mean, what's the most recent one? I think it was wasn't it White Sox versus Twins?
Yeah, the White Sox versus Twins. They were down. The Twins were down. I don't know, like 14-4. The game was over.
I think
don't
the
know the exact
White
score.
Sox were up by 11.
Yeah, they were winning the game. It was a 3-0 count, which 3 balls, no strikes.
Got
One
it.
of the unwritten rules of baseball is you don't typically swing on a 3-0 count. Because there's a chance they'll walk you. But at this point, it's so late in the game that it doesn't matter. And to make this important, there was a position player pitching.
Yeah, the Twins didn't even have their actual pitcher out there.
Yeah.
They just threw a dude in like, hey, finish
go
this
out there.
game out.
Which is essentially them giving up, right? If you're
Wait,
putting a
yeah.
non-pitcher,
Wait, it was a
Then, yeah.
non-pitcher, strictly a non-pitcher, not a backup pitcher, not a backup
Nope.
to the
It
backup.
was
Yeah,
a position player.
the Twins gave up. They said
Essentially,
go
yeah.
out there and just finish out this game. We don't care.
we don't care anymore.
Throw our skinniest dude with no arm. You can do that in baseball.
Sure. You
Yeah,
could.
if you go down the line and say, "Hey, have you pitched before?" They'll be like, "Yeah," and they'll be like, "All right, go out there and either get 3 outs, get pummeled, whatever, just get it done."
That's awesome. That's amazing. So this I'm gonna
This
make
is
him
the scenario.
scrawny. I'm gonna make him a scrawny,
He
not
wasn't, but okay.
not baseball looking baseball dude, right? So this non-baseball dude throws, they swing, they score, they're already up 11. I'm assuming this is what happened. They're already up 11. They score off that swing.
He hits a home run off the swing,
Yeah.
Oh my!
It's like a
wowies.
47 miles per hour ball, which
and
is
this dude launches it, and I mean,
very easy.
crushes the shit out of this ball. It's a
That's-
no doubt about it.
That's fucking great.
And the drama here is the White Sox manager was the one who was upset about it.
Yeah, that shit pissed me off, dude.
What?
I was keeping up a little bit with the story. So the manager, he called this player clueless. He started going off like, oh, he'll learn from this mistake and all this stuff. Like, he was trashing his own player
Fuck you! He
because
scored.
because of these unwritten rules.
He just.
You're not supposed to swing there, bro.
It's a positive
Unwritten
thing.
rules. You're showboating.
They just don't like showboating, man. The same thing happened. I forget how long ago this was.
This was last year.
Tatis.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Tatis with the grand slam at the top of the 8th, right? The score was 14-3, so the game was already decided. I mean, it was 10-3, I think it was. 10-3. He grand slams it, but the same thing. It was a 3-0 count, and he's supposedly, right, the managers are like, "Oh, just take it," giving him the signs to just take. Don't swing.
Mm-hmm.
He hits a grand slam, and there it
They
is.
get up
The
in
rain.
arms.
Yeah, everyone's up in arms. Like, okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Next guy goes up, Machado. Which, I mean, I'm not gonna say he can get hit by a baseball, and I wouldn't care. But I mean, if he would have gotten hit, they pitched at him because they broke the unwritten rule. So the pitcher obviously has to go throw the ball at the next batter up, which is already sketch, but it was against Machado. So anyways, so again, the manager and the pitcher get suspended, but it's like, yo, these people are really out here protecting these strange unwritten rules that it's tough to say if they should continue being there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Offensively, a grand slam is the pinnacle of what you can do offensively, right? It's the
Yeah.
Yes. And defensively, a triple out would be the pinnacle of what you can do defensively.
Defense, yeah.
So
for
you're
sure.
saying this guy did the highest high of an offense that you can do, and people were mad at him for it.
Yep.
Yeah. And you gotta also, you may not know who Tatis is, but he's arguably the most exciting player right now in baseball. Like if baseball had a superstar, he would kind of be one of those
Jeff
rising
said no.
stars. He's saying no, but he's one of the rising stars in baseball.
Is Jeff saying no because
He's a rising star, but I wouldn't say he's the star of
Well, he's not
baseball.
Trout. I didn't say he's Trout, but so he's a rising star, right? And you have this young guy who's making a name for himself. He hits a grand slam, and instead of him being all pumped and excited, he's on the bench with a serious face. His manager talking to him like, "Hey, you can't do that, man."
All right, guys. American shit.
He apologized for hitting the grand slam. I'm sorry, Edwin. But I gotta say this. He had to apologize for hitting the grand slam.
Yo, the hype train's about to pass, so I have to say this fast. Americans shit on soccer for being a pussy sport. You're doing all these, they're just flopping, they're doing all this stuff, right? But when a team is getting pummeled, the most respectful thing you can do is to keep pummeling them. Greatest example ever, Brazil.
Oh, Brazil. They're going to say Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich against Barcelona, but Brazil. That's like the most memed example. The little kid was crying into a cup. A super fan who had been to all of the Brazil games. There's that famous image of him crying. It was like a really emotional moment. And it's one of the greatest moments in World Cup history. It was incredible to watch Brazil getting absolutely demolished by Germany.
For sure.
And it's one of the most respectful things you can do. If you stop playing, that's so disrespectful. You're telling the other team like, "Oh, you give up, then I guess we'll let you guys off the hook."
Well, as it turns out, these hard-nosed baseball players, the manly men, are kind of emotional too. and pitchers especially don't like if you hit a home run on them.
Oh, they don't like any showboater.
You don't showboat. Like you can, what's it called when they swing their bat and they're popping off after a home run?
Yeah,
a bat flip. Yeah, there has to be. It can't go. There's a certain point where the bat can't reach a certain height, or else it's like, okay, dude, you got to do a mini flip and then just straight face it, because these guys they get emotional, bro. I don't know. That is something I definitely. Because it's been kind of the topic of discussion on the internet. That's kind of hard for me to follow with baseball. Just the unwritten rules. I can look past all the slow gameplay and all the time off, and the fact that a lot of these baseball players are unathletic, but they're making millions.
So let's talk about that. Actually, hype train's passing, so I'm gonna not talk about that.
But dude, don't even worry about the hype train, man. Just go.
We can talk about old generation versus new generation rules right now. Well, we can cut this out, but
yeah, but preferably you wouldn't stop, because then it's more work.
Yeah, of course. But go ahead.
So this, all of this to say, is that we're gonna be 30 soon. We're going to be, 40 in 10 years. But all the young folks now that are in their teens, 10 years from now, they're going to be in their 20s, mid-20s. And, I'm not sure if who do sports target anyways?
I would ideally be the children. Yeah.
Everyone.
They want young and old, right?
Yeah.
So what are sports doing today to attract the new?
So what's going on in basketball, right? Basketball has turned, instead of being a team-oriented social presence, they've become individuals, right? And the younger kids now follow individual basketball players. And that's the biggest thing going on in basketball, that people follow players around instead of teams. And
each player has a story, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
And they're selling stories.
Yeah.
on top of the gameplay, obviously, because in all these professional sports, these are all the best of the best in a way.
Yeah. So
right?
like
no matter what sport.
when a player switches teams, then you want to see, oh, I want to see how he goes down against his old team. Oh, he's facing a different person who had called him out beforehand in a different team, saying you can only function because of your team. Now this person's in a different team. Let's go, right? And people tune into that. That's what people tune into, the stories now. I wouldn't say, maybe this is why there was such a huge presence for like WWE, right? There was such storylines with that every wrestler had with each other, and they all wanted to keep their own lore. That kind of thing attracts people. It doesn't even have to be about the sport.
Well, I mean, for the way I look at things, the things that sell the most, obviously you have sex, right? Sex sells, but the other thing is a story. A good story.
Controversy.
Well, controversies are stories too.
Yeah.
Yeah. A good story is what makes it. So what about in baseball? Is there a young following, or is that all old school?
Damn, the average age, I think, for someone who watches baseball is like late 50s.
Well, how about
Shit, so then what are they doing? What
everything
are they gonna
wrong? It's because baseball just has such a problem of marketing their young players and just like so Tatis, for example, right? He's an exciting young player. They're not letting him be emotional. He doesn't get to really do what he wants to do in terms of like showing emotion on the field, and it's really hard to promote these people if no one knows who they are because they're kind of just blending in with the background.
So what got you into baseball as a young fan?
Honestly, it was just going to a game. I went to a game with my dad, with my mom, my sister, and I fell in love with the game, and from then on I just stayed with the sport.
What about you, Frank? What was the sport you followed as a young fan, and what got you into it?
As a kid, I was watching, the first sporting thing that I watched was a World Cup, and Mexico was playing. So that was my first time I watched a sport on TV, and I was like, oh, cool. So soccer is my favorite sport now. Cool. And growing up, I think it's so cool to follow the NBA.
What got you into the NBA?
I eventually just got into it.
What
got me into it?
Yeah.
In middle school, I had a lot of friends that were super into the NBA and football. I didn't get into football, but since they really liked the NBA, and NBA, in sharp contrast to the MLB, they do a really good job of the marketing, and it's the cool thing to do, to like the NBA, to follow these basketball players, shoot hoops, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's in rap, it's in our music, it's in a lot of things, NBA.
Yeah.
It's huge.
What got me into soccer?
Go ahead.
What got me into soccer was watching a World Cup that I watched entirely throughout. It's the World Cup, FIFA 2002. So one where I was the most conscious, I was the most lucid to just actually understand what's going on. And, watching Ronaldinho and Ronaldo play. Watching Ronaldo, watching the legendary, Brazil team.
Yeah, because they got to express themselves on the field.
Yeah, they got to have fun. You learned phrases like Jogo Bonito, which is, beautiful game that everybody
Brasileiro.
Yeah, everybody is like, it's what adds life to a game. It adds flavor. It adds, and like after the World Cup, I got to see where do these players actually play? Where do they play on a daily basis, right? And that was my biggest introduction to all of soccer, right?
Yeah.
I started watching soccer I would watch the Mexican League, right? And that's its own thing, right? That has its own emotion, that has its own rhythm, has its own flow. And then you discover different leagues, and each league has a different way that they play.
Culture and stuff.
Different culture, different things.
For sure.
And then you just fall in love with little pieces, little bits and pieces of each. But they all have storylines at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I don't want this episode to be, trashing on Major League Baseball, but Jeff, please tell us, what can they do, man? It seems a decline is waiting to happen, if not already.
It is rough because it's not only is it not marketed, it's just as a kid it's really expensive to just get into the game, right? Because you need to buy a ball, which is the cheaper thing, but you also need a glove. And if you want to do if that's just to play catch, if you want to do little league, you got to get a bat and you got to get cleats, which add to the cost even more as compared to like soccer where it's just cleats and then the ball is provided for you if you want to do little league.
Honestly, it's just the ball. That's all you need.
Yeah, it's just a ball. Same for basketball. You go to a park and the hoops are already there. You just have a ball. Mm-hmm. With baseball, a glove is pretty fucking expensive.
Dude, that's a really good point. In order for you to play baseball, you need to gather up a lot of people.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? Just to have a playable game, you need
like, 2 teams and stuff.
You need 2 teams. You need 2 pitchers. You need enough people to be in the outfield and the infield. So bare minimum, you need like 10 people.
Yeah, I mean, you can't pitch to yourself. You can't play catch by yourself. It's tough.
Even like
is that why?
If we're I mean, there's such a thing as rich people sports, and there's like, poor people sports, and soccer is considered one of those most accessible poor person sports, and you can play that by yourself, which is something you can't do. You can play basketball by yourself as well. Right.
You can't throw a ball at yourself. You're just gonna toss it in the air and then catch it. It's a little harder to do. Well, not harder, but it's
in basketball. You can shoot hoops. In soccer, you can learn to juggle. You can shoot at stuff, right? And
damn, boys, are we hitting it? Is this the nail on the head? Is it that baseball is just? It's not just accessibility now to fans, but just the inaccessibility as a kid.
Yeah, so if you're a parent and your kid wants to play football or baseball, it's much easier for them to just buy them a fucking football. Or a basketball. Or a soccer ball.
Right.
Wait, isn't little...
There's little league sport, like teams and stuff, local teams.
Yeah,
for all
we should have looked up what has the largest amount of kids. Is it ISO, the soccer league? Is it Little League? Or is it just... I haven't heard of people going to basketball camps. Or basketball leagues.
Yeah. I think they're just being carried by like high school.
By pickup?
Middle school and high school.
You play pickup as a kid?
Well, it's not just a pickup, but I mean it's school.
Yeah.
And the school teams. And basketball, there's only a few players needed, 5 at a time on each side.
One-on-one. You could even do one-on-one. The most.
Yeah, you don't need to join like a basketball tourney as a kid and stuff. But damn, that's a
lot to think about.
It's something because as we get older, what's going to happen to these sports, to the way things are televised or the way we're able to access it.
But TV deals are only going to get bigger and bigger. That's for sure.
But TV isn't getting bigger.
Yeah, viewership is on the decline for all sports across the board.
Well, yeah. I understand that. Even soccer has declined numbers.
Because at the end of the day, the sports also have to compete for attention with social media and all this other programming and YouTube, all that stuff.
So here's one of the things that people are talking about. There's been rumbles in the soccer community that they want to say they should make a soccer game shorter because everyone has shorter attention spans because of social media, because of how we live our lives now. Mm-hmm. They say that 90 minutes is too much. I don't want to say that I'm old school about it.
Okay.
but I'm old school about it.
Yeah, everything after, everything before the but is bullshit. I don't want to be old school, but I'm old school.
But keep the games 90 minutes long. I feel like that excitement for the game is just.
I mean, if it was shorter than 90 minutes, you'd get a lot more 0-0s, which is probably what turns off a lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot of Americans are like, oh, you can have draws because American sports do not have draws, you know?
Yeah, someone's got to win.
Yeah, but there's also excitement in draws. Because soccer is not just an individual game, who wins or who loses, you know? Just like every league, you got points. You know, there's a whole narrative on points on the table. There's a whole narrative on positions to see who moves on to different tournaments. You know, top 4 goes to the Champions League, and then top 7, the 3 after that don't go to the Champions League, they go to another cup. You know, so it's like there's drama.
At the end of the day, though, let's say you're in a competition with someone. Are you happier when you win, when you draw, or when you lose? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Can you be as happy with the draw as you are with the win?
Yeah, 100%. Because sometimes
that's why you really like soccer.
Sometimes the draw messes up a team that you're in complete contention with on the table.
Yeah, but apart from sports, I'm not talking about sports. Just like the philosophy of it.
Well, sports are at the table. Sports are also the entire. Well, I mean, in soccer, if I'm talking about a soccer tournament, then yeah, you have to take into account that sometimes if you draw, there's no possible mathematical way that a different team, even if they win, can pass you up, can beat you. In the grand.
But it'd still be more points if you just win the game outright.
Yeah, of course. But then sometimes your rival needs you to win the game so that they could also bypass the person in second place or something like that. You know, so that they could also be in a better position. And then you draw and that they don't get enough points to bypass that team. Stuff like that.
Yeah. See, but the thing was, I wasn't talking about soccer, because in soccer, if you play the game until somebody scored, it can legit go infinite. Right.
Well, isn't it cricket?
I guess in baseball too.
Isn't it cricket that they have long ass fucking games, like 3 or 4 days?
Not sure.
I don't know. Don't know anything about cricket.
And I know tennis also goes that long. If nobody wins, they have to keep coming back.
No one watches those sports here, dude. We're American, bro.
I want to get into tennis, honestly.
Tennis is cool. But so, do you guys think all of this is a myth? That, like, the younger folks aren't really following sports as much, and everyone's getting older, like in baseball.
It's a myth in the
average
sense...
viewer is older. Is that a myth, or you guys think it's real and we're heading in that direction?
It's a myth in the sense that the younger generation follows sports differently, not the traditional way.
I agree.
So you think it's just they're not as loyal?
No, they follow it differently. They're loyal, but they follow things differently.
I think it also just goes by sport. Because I know in basketball, right, people are more loyal to players sometimes than they are to teams. So, like, people just follow LeBron wherever he goes, regardless of who he plays for.
Right, but the old school mentality was that your home team is your diehard local
so this goes
team.
Into the new way of seeing it, where they want to follow a player's career and not necessarily give a shit about the team they're on.
So it will be interesting then to see that if the younger folks aren't as loyal and aren't as emotional and passionate about this stuff the way that we are, and that's why all these TV package deals and stuff affect us, because
we're the ones
we watch the thing, right? I wonder how all that's going to look in the future.
I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't call the younger generation not as passionate, because at the end at the end of the day, it's different. It's a different way of passion, because
Yeah, it's a lesser version.
The reason we all get into sports is our parents. You know, some people support the losingest team ever because their parents support the team. You know, and it's just that's how we all get into sports. We all get it's a gateway. Our parents are like, "Oh, we really like this," and then boom, it becomes our favorite thing ever.
Yeah, and when I say they're less passionate, it's not because I'm an elitist and millennials are better than Gen Z and all this stuff. It's not really their fault. It's more of just all of these practices that we discussed.
Yeah.
In this episode that have turned away a lot of people.
I mean, they could always go to the high seas to watch it. You know, I'm not condoning, but the high seas are there for a reason. They're accessible. If you guys know what I mean by the high seas, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Oh yeah, I know all too well about that.
I lost that.
You're yeah. I'll explain after the show, Frantic.
You just gotta channel your inner Jack Sparrow there, Frantic.
Yeah, take to the seas.
That's why I don't know. I didn't watch those movies.
You don't have to.
But anyways, that's the end of our episode. You know, and
yeah, y'all can reach us at our website at tiltednotstirred.com, where you'll find links to our Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. You can listen to us on the iTunes, Spotify, and the YouTube.
Remember to join us to share your questions and voice your thoughts on what has you tilted, not stirred.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.